There is a moment that almost every new homeschool mom faces, and it doesn't happen in a classroom or at a curriculum fair. It happens at a dinner table or over the phone with your mom or in a parking lot after church. Someone you love looks at you and says, "Are you sure about this?" Or maybe they don't even ask. They just go quiet, and you know exactly what that silence means. If you've been there, this video is for you. I'm Maggie O, and I've been homeschooling since before it was a trend. I homeschooled for 20 years, 2 boys all the way through, and I have sat at enough kitchen tables to know that the family pushback is one of the hardest parts of this whole journey. Not the curriculum, not the planning, but the people that you love the most not being sure that you can do this. That just hits differently. And today, I want to go deep on this because it deserves more than just a 60-second reel. I want to talk about why this hurts the way it hurts, and how to respond without losing yourself, and how to protect your confidence so that you can actually show up for your child. So let's get into this just a little bit. Here's the thing that nobody tells you when you make the decision to homeschool. Strangers, they're easy. They're easy to talk to because it doesn't matter, right? When a coworker raises an eyebrow or a neighbor makes a comment at the mailbox, it stings for a second, but I mean, you move on. You don't need their approval to function. But when it comes from like your mom or your mother-in-law or a sister who taught public school for 15 years and has a lot of opinions about it, this hits differently, completely differently, and it's kind of hard. Because those people whose opinions have mattered to you your whole life, people whose trust you've always wanted, and then when they're questioning your decision to homeschool your children, there's something underneath that question that can feel like, do you actually trust me as a mother? And sometimes they don't, not yet. And I understand that. I've been with friends in those kind of scenarios who have experienced that. I've sat at the table, and I want to say this clearly before we go any further. It is completely valid that this hurts. It makes sense that it hurts. And the fact that it hurts doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It means you care about your family and you care about getting this right. There's also something worth naming here. For a lot of us, the people pushing back they're not trying to be cruel. They're scared. They went to school. Their kids went to school. School is what they know, and what they don't know scares them. They don't yet have a picture of what your homeschool will actually look like. They're filling in the blanks with fear. And that's important to understand because it completely changes how you respond. And here's what I've learned after years of navigating this with my own family and watching hundreds of other homeschool moms walk through it. You cannot logic someone out of a fear-based response. Let me say that again. You cannot logic someone out of a fear-based response. You can show them statistics. You can send them articles. You can list every socialization activity, every co-op, every curriculum that you've researched at midnight, and they will still find a reason to worry. Because the worry it's not really about the facts. The worry is about the unknown. So stop trying to win that argument. Instead, get curious. The next time someone that you love expresses concern, try this. Rather than explaining where you're coming from, ask them a question. What worries you the most? What are you afraid will happen? Turn that around a little bit. And then really listen. Listen to them. Listen to their response. It might be a little uncomfortable at first, but not to prepare your rebuttal. You're not listening for that, but to actually understand what is underneath their fear. Where are they coming from? And when people feel heard, something kind of shifts. Not all the time, but a lot of times this is very productive. The defensiveness will drop a little bit and the walls start to come down. And then that's where the real conversation can actually happen. A phrase I've used more than once. I hear you. I know this looks different from what you expected. I need you to trust me on this. And I promise to show you, not just tell you. Notice what that phrase does not do. It doesn't apologize for the decision. It does not argue. It doesn't defend. It just acknowledges their concern. It asks for trust, and it makes a specific commitment to show, not tell. Because here's the truth. You're not going to convince them with words. You're going to show them over time. You are going to let them watch your child light up talking about something that they've studied. You're going to let them see your home, the rhythm of it, the joy of it, the learning happening inside ordinary Tuesday mornings. And that is your evidence. It is more powerful than any article you could ever send them. So one more thing I want you to say and think about is that you are allowed to set a boundary. You do not have to just justify your decision. You don't have to do that every time that you're in the same room as someone who doesn't agree. You can just simply say calmly, warmly, and firmly, I love you, and I'm not going to keep defending this. If you have specific questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I'm not going to turn this into an argument anymore. So you want to just be calm and warm about it. And you can tell them, and it's okay. You don't have to defend what you feel called to do. You just have to live it. So I want to take a few minutes about when we mentioned what's underneath all of this and where it's coming from, because the family pushback question isn't just about them, it's about you. And in chapter 6 of the Homeschool Roadmap, it's called the chapter is called The Parent Role in Self-Care. And one of the things I come back to again and again in that chapter is the idea of protecting your confidence. Not guarding it defensively, but protecting it intentionally. We're doing everything intentionally. And here's why that matters so much. Your confidence is contagious. Your peace is contagious. And when you walk into your school day settled, not anxious, not defensive, not still mentally replaying the last conversation with your mother-in-law, your kids feel that. They absorb that. So, and the reverse is also true of that. When you're spending your emotional energy on defending your decision, justifying yourself, bracing for the next conversation, you're depleting yourself before the school day even begins. You're draining yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot homeschool from a posture of fear. One of the most practical things that I did in those years was making a decision, a real decision, that I was not going to go outsource. I wasn't going to outsource my certainty to other people. And that didn't mean that I stopped caring what my family thought. It meant that I stopped letting their uncertainty become mine. And that's really, really important. It doesn't mean you love them any less. And it really does save your peace. I had done the research. I knew my boys. I knew why I was doing this. That foundation was mine to protect. And I wasn't going to let it be eroded every time someone asked a skeptical question. Your certainty is the answer to their fear. It's kind of like how animals can sense that your fear. People around you, it's contagious. It's the same thing. People around you do too. And the way that you respond says a lot of what's going on inside of you. So remember, your certainty is the answer to their fear. Not your argument, not your data, your certainty. And so when you walk into a room grounded in why you're doing this, when you're not finishing, when you're not flinching and you're not defensive, that communicates something that no amount of explaining can. It says, I know what I'm doing. I trust myself, and you can too. So in chapter 6, we also talk about what it looks like to actually care for yourself in this season. Not bubble baths or spa days, although, by all means, those are nice. But real sustainable practices that keep you from burning out and losing yourself in doing this. Because your homeschool runs on you. And if you are depleted, everybody else feels it. You owe your child or children your best. You don't owe anyone else a defense. And so I want to end with something that has been true in almost every single family I've walked alongside in this. The grandparents who pushed back the hardest, the ones who made the most comments, they asked the most questions, they expressed the most doubt, they became the biggest cheerleaders. Not because you won an argument, but because they watched your children flourish. They watched them thrive. Because they sat at your kitchen table and they saw what learning in your home actually looks like. Give them time. Give them the evidence by your examples, but do not give them your certainty. That belongs to you. If today's video has resonated with you, the Homeschool Roadmap is linked in the description. It just hit Amazon's #1 bestseller in parenting education. And chapter 6 is waiting for you specifically. And I would love to see you at my free workshop on May 14th for those in the Austin, Texas area. And that link is in the description too. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.